Welcome to Reddit Blue Pill Red Pill, where we go over Reddit stories and predict the outcome of the stories. Please listen and play along by typing in your choices into the comments. There are 5 seconds to answer, or you can pause the video. Today we have a story about a father that doesn't like how his wife punishes their daughters. Alright, let's get on to the story. My wife and I have one daughter from a previous marriage each. Mine is called Penn, 15F, and hers Amy, 17F. We've been married for 10 years now. Our finances are joint because we don't care for money. She makes 70, 80K, and I make 180 to 200K per year. She's in charge of our finances. So we have a couple that each bring a daughter from a previous relationship. The OP's marriage is 10 years by now, so the entire relationship must be even longer. But what do you think of their financial setup? Many couples have joint bank accounts to make it easier to pay for the household expenses and to make expenses easier to keep up with by both parties. But everything can still be paid without creating joint accounts, so it's a step not every couple makes. What do you think about their financial situation? Do you agree with joint bank accounts for spouses? If so, type Q1 blue in the comments. If you think accounts should remain separate even while married, type Q1 red. My wife has the weird fixation on having the kids earn their stuff, and while I agree, both of our daughters are well-behaved, good students in kind, I don't see why they have to earn every single thing daily. For example, if my daughter is working in the kitchen at night and goes to sleep without putting her laptop away because she'll work again in the morning, then my wife decides that she can't eat anything sweet that day. I've voiced, with better words, that I find it stupid. Same thing goes for her daughter. She's prone to forget things easily, and if she doesn't remember to put away this or that thing, my wife removes her phone or tablet. The OP's wife sets punishments to their daughters for petty things in order to teach them to be more responsible. While most parents would hold punishments for more severe things, the wife seems to dole it out for the smallest of infractions. Plus, being forgetful may be something that is not even technically worthy of being punished for. I myself am very forgetful. I don't mean to be, and I try to remind myself of important things by writing things down, setting multiple alarms, and so forth. But to be purposely punished for being forgetful? I don't know about that. The OP has voiced his displeasure of these types of punishment to his wife before, and it doesn't seem the wife is willing to change because, in her mind, she's teaching their daughters to be more mindful of what they do. What do you think? If you agree with the OP's wife that these punishments are warranted and will instill discipline, type Q2 blue in the comments. If you feel like the OP that these punishments are not warranted, especially for such petty infractions, type Q2 red. Yesterday was my day off, and I stay back home resting while my wife and our kids went out to buy my mother-in-law's Mother's Day gift. Around 5 p.m., my daughter came to my room and said that my wife bought Amy a necklace, and when she asked for a pair of earrings she loved, my wife refused because the night before, she stayed up until late watching Netflix when she knows she can't do it. This isn't the first time my wife refuses to buy my daughter things, and honestly, it boils my blood. My daughter is a really good kid. I work hard to make sure my family has every or most of the things they want, just for my wife to tell them no, because they're kids being kids. The OP's wife was out shopping with both daughters, and the wife bought her daughter jewelry, and when the OP's daughter asked for jewelry for herself, the wife denied her due to her watching Netflix until late the night before. I think this could easily be seen as the OP's wife showing favoritism towards her own daughter than to her husband's daughter. Would the wife deny her own daughter jewelry because she stayed up late watching TV? That is why it's important to treat both sisters equally, because it can be a bad look for the wife. I think this is especially true since both daughters have similar ages, so when one of them gets a gift, the other will likely want something similar for herself. What do you think? Do you side with the wife and think, as long as she's treating both daughters the same, that she can gift one daughter with things while the other gets nothing for a minor infraction? If so, type Q3 blue in the comments. If you don't agree with the wife and think the punishment here doesn't fit the crime, type Q3 red. When my wife came into our room, I was honest. I said that her rule was utterly stupid and I was done putting up with that. That I don't particularly like her buying one thing for a girl while the other had nothing. And that until she accepts to attend therapy with me and fix this problem, our money will be taken care of separately, and the joint account will be for house and emergency matters only. This means she now has to pay half of the utilities and some other things. She didn't like it because her money will be cut short and implied I was financially abusing her by doing this for a pair of earrings. She went to her parents and my father-in-law called me. Soon after, he said I was an a-hole and that it was my obligation to provide for my family. The OP had enough and finally snapped at his wife about her giving out arbitrary punishments. He asked his wife to attend therapy, and until she does, he will not contribute fully as he had previously, and the wife would have to shoulder some of the household payments. Excuse me, but isn't that the whole point of having a joint account, so that both partners can pool their finances to pay for everything together? The OP is implying he pays for everything, and now his wife is upset she will have to take money from her own account to pay for some of the utilities. The wife said he is the one now punishing her for something petty, and said he is financially abusing her. So when he pays for mostly everything, that is not financial abuse, but when she is asked to contribute more now, it suddenly becomes financial abuse. Make it make sense. Sure, he makes double her salary, but that just means he should pay a bigger share of the expenses, not that the wife will contribute nothing or next to nothing. Am I wrong? What do you think? If you agree with the OP setting therapy as an expectation or his financial contributions will be cut, then type Q4 blue in the comments. If you agree with the wife and the OP is using financial abuse to get what he wants, then type Q4 red. That was the full initial story, but the OP wrote a few follow-up posts, so let's analyze them. ETA, I might have not explained myself. I'll still be paying most of our joint expenses, like 60 to 70%, but before this, my wife kept almost all of her money to herself and only put toward the emergency fund we set, and still put a bigger amount. She's not happy about us separating our finances because this means she has to contribute to the house now, and she will have less money for her daughter's college fund and her fun. Wow, I am shocked. As I predicted, the wife contributes the bare minimum and basically gets to keep all of her money to do as she pleases, while the OP shoulders almost all of the financial responsibility of the household. In addition, the wife sets aside money for her own daughter's college fund with the extra money that she doesn't have to pay for the family expenses. But I doubt the wife also contributes to her stepdaughter's college fund equally, right? That's the OP's responsibility, as well as having the responsibility of every other expense. But do you think that this arrangement is fine as long as they both agree to it? It seemed the OP was perfectly fine with this arrangement beforehand, so who are we the judge? If you find no issues with this arrangement as long as both parties agree, then type Q5 blue in the comments. If you think this arrangement is unfair, even considering the OP makes over double his wife's salary, type Q5 red. Now on to the final update. ETA 2, thanks for all of your replies and comments. I'll try to read all of them and will be answering some. I also want to thank you all for your advices. My wife still refuses to do therapy, and as some of you said, this will be my hill to die on. If she doesn't agree by next Wednesday, I'm sure we will divorce. Someone also asked for our ages. I'm 36 male and she is 45 female. I personally don't see why ages are important, but the OP wanted to give this extra detail since many in the comments were asking. The OP is going nuclear and has stepped up his demands to therapy or divorce. I don't blame him. He was originally reasonable asking for therapy or withdrawing some of his financial contributions, but not all. But his wife threw him under the bus, left to her parents instead of working things out, and said he was financially abusing her and got her parents involved. The worst thing is that the wife wasn't budging either, so divorce is likely at this point. Things escalated quickly, didn't they? But what do you think of this final update? Do you agree with the OP upping his demand for therapy or divorce, or do you think he is going too far? If you side with the OP, type Q6 blue in the comments. If you don't agree with the OP's actions, type Q6 red. Now let's listen to a few of those comments.
Not the a-hole. Mainly because you offered couples therapy as a way to work on the problem. Also because your wife isn't disciplining your respective daughters, she is just being mean. Everybody in the world forgets things, even your wife. A gentle reminder is sufficient for that. Watching Netflix too late? Yeah, find me a teenager who doesn't. She is just picking on them. I did notice, too, that you stated you would still put enough in the joint account to cover the bills and household expenses. So, no, you are not financially abusing anybody. Keep trying for therapy. Your kids need help.
She is an abuser, my dude, not you. Quote, she went to her parents, and my father-in-law called me soon after. He said I was an a-hole and that it was my obligation to provide for my family. Remind him, welcome to the 21st century, so does she. Start setting up your own accounts. Tell her it's this way or divorce. Stop letting your daughter be abused by her. She has turned food, a needed thing, into a weapon. Full stop now.
Your post triggered my childhood trauma. My mom treated me this way, making me earn everything, every little thing. Took years of therapy for me to realize my worth and self-esteem had nothing to do with my earning people's favors. Please protect your daughter from this nightmare. So she is buying these uneven gifts for only her daughter from an account that only you pay into, and is whining that that tap is currently cut off until she can be kind to her stepdaughter? You're not the a-hole, but I think that therapy you suggested is really in order.
I certainly hope you told your father-in-law to mind his business and to stay in his lane, not the a-hole, and agree with you these are weird punishments. I also don't like the idea of weaponizing food.
Not the a-hole. Your wife is manipulating facts in order to make herself look better. You could make the finances more fair in that she has to pay 25% of everything, while you pay 75% to cover you and both girls. But I think the punishments need to start being doled out by you alone, since she's on a power trip and doesn't understand how to treat others appropriately and with respect, including you and the kids.
Okay, that's it for today. Thank you for watching all the way to the end and participating. Please consider liking and subscribing to watch future videos. Goodbye.